whatever protection that we build around ourselves. And when we do that, like what we just did now, you set intention. So I had a conversation recently about people who follow scripture. They are told that in the beginning there was the Word, and the Word was God, and God was the Word. There's this thing about the Word, and the Word is spoken. It's a voice, it's a sound. So we want to break the rules of what sound actually creates. That's why we don't want to speak. Rather, the intention then is practiced internally in the mind or your subconscious, where you now expect to see or learn or about that person that you just exchanged energy with. And this is things that come after. So it's an aftermath. It should now come from dreaming or vision or remembering. We once, Ubab Menzi found, well, he met a group of us women who were trying to form a coven, to implement the processes of dreaming, especially in spaces, in sacred spaces where we decide to, typically come to a place where we sleep over, or either outside in a tent, or inside a cave, or inside a forest. And that's where now we do these type of rituals of interacting with the spirits and making them cross each other to a point where they're like, what are you doing? What's going on? And we sleep. When we sleep, we sleep expecting, we sleep knowing that whoever wakes up, whether you actually do go deep sleep or not, will have something to say about you, your presence, or you'll have something to say about their presence. We started now understanding that the darkness, there's the womb space, which in the world we live in exists as dark spaces, dark caves, or where like especially when you're going back to the womb, where you don't see yourself, everything is dark, you don't know who you are, what you are, you just basically said that I'm part of darkness, I'm this space. So it's important to incorporate that, or to come into dark spaces when you are attempting to dream for each other or to help someone else remember. And it's an ongoing process, but at some point these things are activated. It's a way of fast pacing and triggering without different ways which people do it. I want to also go a little bit in dream interpretation in passing. See in our lineages, our forefathers, grandparents, parents, and so on, who taught us a language, a certain language or code system, and it means someone's gonna die. Or when you see a snake, it means someone is about to reveal a secret in the family. And there's all these different ways which dreams can be interpreted, but there seem to be things that we are missing. What is the universal language of this making sense to all of us as human beings, whichever background that we come from or whatever we've been taught? And that itself is a process that needs a type of introduction of mirror reflection or mirror reflective medicine, where now we introduce immunity or plants that will open. About opening, I think it's not a healing. We basically just as fully logo, because most of the time they don't evaluate your opinion. It's what you think, what you've been told. As fully, so that whoever catches it, because now our people, ourselves, our spirits, they choose amongst the people that are present who they feel comfortable with or who they relate with. It could be a blood DNA thing, it could be a past life that you shared. It could be we are papa, you just like things, or like to just break doors and go into someone's mind. Because I'm gonna stop talking about that now. If there's questions, can you ask a bit later? Uncle wanted me to do an activity. I didn't want to go extreme, but you can go back to your seats. And so my task for you, the reason I wanted to, you can switch, is can you intentionally remember the face of the person's seat that you took and expect to see or allow them to visit you or you to visit them? And Endoleo should only be attempted in at home or in whenever you sleep, in the dream space, and let's see how that discussion will go. Right, Gavon.
I must say, in terms of commentary, sounds like a very, very simple exercise, but twice upon a time in Zimbabwe, about 2020, I had an experience. Someone was teaching me something like this. So I don't know which one to take, but I So, oh, sorry. Tell it around to me. Only for other people. Minister voice. But quickly, so Ugogodo Zimbabwe taught me. Well, it was two of us. She was giving us like a 2-day workshop into working with water. So there's something that you mentioned about the mirror reflection. So she was teaching us. She was teaching us how to actually work with water, to realize that this is tones that you see in water is not, well, of course, we all know that when it's tunes, say like when you're walking next to, it's tunes. But she was using the word it's tunes to describe your image that you see in the water, and how to talk to your image and how to make it talk back. But the talk back, the response back, and she was teaching, she taught us how to actually make it, including the medicines, as you were saying, to actually make that happen. But now, because there was two of us, she did a very same exercise. Okay. She taught us, okay, talk to it, but the response may not come now. But it's of a push. But the trick is now, sometimes you may think you're going to see your own image, but it may be the image of someone, any Zwana naye, maybe the person that you were with in the immigration process, or it may be an image. So basically, in a nutshell, teaching us how to interpret the image. Interpret the image, not just what you see. There's what you see with your eyes, and then there's also what the water is saying. So it was giving us an explanation of how to uncover the layers and layers, different layers of interpretation, or of symbolism. And see, sometimes we may see, it may not be Koko, maybe Umchana, maybe nephew, whatever. But learn to interpret why is that the image that you are talking to you, because there's a lot of misunderstanding when it comes to maybe this message was not good. You must go and buy into year 2 or that. So there are certain things that I think we can learn through ritual and through initiation that can help us to actually get to the bottom of it. Now, my image is a task of team. So thank you for this exercise. I think though it requires a workshop on its own. But in my project alone, they require, a lot of some of us are tired. I don't know correctly. There are times people come asking them about their dreams. Okay, it is. You must know because you're someone. Or you must definitely know because you're a media manager. Most of the friends that I know are example. But I don't do Gogo Nene. I don't do presentation. Yes, she knows. But she's put it in I because we can't tell her because that's the main thing that's troubling people. So let me just stop there. No,
Yeah. Again, thank you so much for that exercise. I'm actually annoyed I was not here to physically do the exercise because I'm fighting with the internet on this side. But thank you for doing that. We move to because the internet is not working, I'm unable to download the presentation. No, the internet's not allowing.
Oh, so we are not getting it.
No.
What's the one in the background? That's the old one.
Yeah.
Speak from your heart, Papa.
But I must tell you, I've had
We can use one.
Give it. Papa said, oh, there's a paper that you need. It's got your notes.
Yeah, I wrote something which I wanted to.
That's good.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to time
So who knows that they can hotspot you if you need internet every month? No, go sir.
Mama Penny, I'm going to
remember.
Numbers of hotspots are no problem.
856.
So let's say we're about 10 to 1 now. At 1:30 we have to go to lunch because there's another group of people who know in another room, so they have that venue for lunch. Kind of really use that. So I pushed it to 1:30. They managed to give us extra 30 minutes. So from 1:30 to 2:30, we can have lunch and then we'll find. So your time is limited because we are 10 to 1. So how many minutes do you need? Which means then you
I'll have 5 minutes.
Excluding the time now being secured.
Boy, to someone, good job. I'm not putting you on the spot. I'm going to say, I'm not getting it. Since the circuit must be unbroken. What is paper? You know something? It's not this one. It's in paper. So let me look. It's a part of the
Anyone that
program.
have a program with notes that
Any-
doesn't look like your right.
Yes. There.
Yeah.
That's
Thank you. We can't.
yeah.
Thank you.
You see how the cycle helps?
Oh,
You can all see.
We have printed this program. We are very using it.
It's just like
Who can read this?
Hey, Marcos, While we wait, they are doing something. While we wait, they are going to eat. Let's try now. Imfundisi. Sizoyilandela thina. Yes, they do that. Yeah. Especially the ones. Oh, it's free. You got I get What's your classes? Yes, you can. But you want to use mine. You know what's conversation? Kesha don't Can you say it? Can you say it? Who can be in good?
Okay, if you find it Because I'm using 1.5 or 2.5.
This is 1.5. Try. Try. If it doesn't make it, it doesn't make it. Now you pay a little bit. Okay. It's perfect. Okay, it's me who must not say.
Yeah. Gaining understanding of spirituality and indigenous knowledge systems pertaining to what we've already been talking about in our academic institutions. Sorry, I think we can now go to.
That's all. Excellent. Why is it?
Well, we've talked much this morning, and it's still the center of everything is African spirituality. Because if you talk about spirits, it is the basic in terms of the formation of physicality and material. Without spirit, the two will be void. There will be nothing. So, spirit, even though the physical cannot see it, is the composition of the physical. See? And it's not easy for every mind to understand that. But I think it's the process of education and indoctrination that people go through. But people who have not gone through some of the things we have gone through for the past 100, 200 years from colonialism, if you meet, I have met people of that nature in rural places who have no idea of school. And if you encounter them and their understanding of the holistic roots of existence, it's beautiful. See, but Europeans want to cut everything into pieces. But you know that if I come to you with your car type and I tell you that it's a car, how are you going to use it without the other parts and the body? But this is how the Western world play. And then they compartmentalized so many things, and then they can't understand at the end. See, but we, as in the not only Africa but the southern world, we are blessed to have that kind of mind. Look at planets, galaxies, universe. Without a problem. See, without a problem. So, spirituality is rooted in holistic cosmology. Of course, I'll be talking fast because it's well known to some of you. Ubuntu is also our understanding. It shows our understanding of existence, which brings all together, not only we human beings, but an entire ecology with all other creatures bound together. You see, so in most of our cosmologies, you will find the place of human, our ancestors, and the other higher beings or forces of the universe integrated together. You see, I always tell people that when the white man got frustrated, he ran them to what? System theory. And what is system theory? It's coming back home to put things together to make sense. And it has worked since they applied that. It has worked in management, even in area of sciences, engineering, and other things. They all apply system theory today to actually make things more understanding and understand how they function better than reduce, chop them into pieces. Spirituality is a deep experience. It's been mentioned here already. Insight from research on intangible phenomena. Yes. No, let me go back a bit, because there's something that I think I need to. Not everything is on the slide, but let me just see how I can actually match the truth. Yeah. Before I go to, I come back to this slide. Yes, we have the issue of origin I've talked about, but then oral and performance transmission. Then we have community and land-based enactment. Knowledge within African spirituality is perpetuated through active engagement in communal rituals and ecological practices. This collective participation highlights the significance of community bonds and the connection to land, which I mentioned earlier in my presentation, where rituals often reflect and respect the natural world. Whilst Europeans say that the natural world is feeling, it doesn't have emotions, so you can just cut the tree as you want. You can just destroy the water. You can just pull down the mountain. And today we see what is happening. And that is why I've been challenging people. Last week, a Muslim from somewhere, I don't know whether Pakistan, commented on our Facebook that what we are trying to do will take us back, whatever we are starting. I said, no, man, you need from us, because maybe you've been converted into the Abrahamic, which is the basis of our discussion today. There was one Christian author, if you get his book reading, Francis Schaeffer, and he talked about that has actually fascinated we are seeing today on this planet. And of course, recorded, it shows how the Abrahamic faith have so much about their doctrine, putting man in the center to the detriment of everything else. So nothing matters apart from the human, but even the human will categorize the human race. That is a big problem. Yeah. So I think now I can jump from this side. Yes. Insights from research intangible phenomena. East Africa Pastoral School use constellation and bird plants indicators to monitor the weather changes and patterns. 2010, a friend told me how when he thinks, let's say he drops his key outside and he's looking for a scent, he observed that a bird will come and sit maybe by a tree or somewhere, and then the way the bird would be, behaving, he gets to that place, you will find what is missing. So when he taught me, I once went to, we were getting excited and asked me that, please, would you go out and let my sister come and then maybe later on. But when I was at the beach, I decided to test that. Then I saw a bird. The bird would come to go west and then to the north. I said, no, that bird is telling me that the visitor is gone. So I can go home. and I tested it for about 3 times, and it did work for me. You see, besides that, I talked to trees. I had trees. It helped me a lot. Of course, we know that when you work barefoot, in fact, I wanted to even remove my shoe when coming here, but you remove it now.
It's sacred.
Even though the soil is not here, but it's good. You see. And so many, go to the beach when you feel stressed. 2019, I spent about 3 to 4 weeks at the beach because I was going through an unusual stress. And if not that place, ACIPS will not be there today. Because it's the moment I encountered the water in a way that I can't express unless you also go and test it. If you haven't yet done so, you see. So, how do you tell me that they are just things that, I don't know how certain people look at things. But these are the people who feel they are higher than us. And they have structured things for us to follow. And for me, I always tell people publicly, I said that I will defy the West. Maybe I'm more radical, but I want to be radical when it comes to that. I will always defy the West. I will never comply to their standards. And it's true. In fact, a lot of boys now have come to understand me. Either they will go with me or they will not go with me. It's two things. Either they will go with me or they will not go with me. Because I'm not going to put myself under them. And I'm not, because it doesn't help me. We can educate ourselves to come into that position. I believe that we may not need to be talking and talking, but then these things will disappear just like that. Because we don't need to beg them to be free. It's one thing. Besides that, technology projects have also begun integrating intangible knowledge into modern tools. Microsoft is doing some experiments. Here, experiment on that. It's not experiment, but they are working in the progress of that nature. What else do we see? Because I'm trying to jump here and there. Okay. The future, the trajectory of indigenous knowledge system lies in building hybrid framework that preserve tradition while embracing innovation. Emerging technological ecosystem proposes ethical digital preservation using care, CAE, I think it's abbreviation, and fair principles. So this is an organization. So now, as much as majority of us have not even imagined that, but good that people are working on. But it's one of our objectives in ACIPS, which a conference that we planned but couldn't come over. I want to work with DUT together on that. Is our spirituality facing a world called fourth industrial revolution. But if you go to Asia, they have already jumped. Because there is a guy who did an AI which can play the voice of your mother, your father, or your dead relative to you. No matter what you say, it is something, isn't it? Yeah, it is something. So why is that they have the right, but we can do that. But good. Some of our Sangomes have already jumped the barrier. They sit here, they can consult in America using the technology system which is available now, you see. So, well, the last week or last 2 weeks, I was checking some message from Ghana on Facebook, and I heard one pastor saying that, oh, we the church, we are behind. Even the way people have moved forward, we are still stuck in there. And I said, why? Because if you want to follow doctrines which even the West themselves, they have abandoned, then certainly you are going to start behind. But I don't think that we in the spirituality should follow, because you talk of spirituality, as I explained from the onset, there is no longer a barrier or division. Everything is one. And if we understand the holisticness of our I don't want to say religion, but our world, then the spirit comes first, even before you have a body. Specialization in training. Let's do it fast. Is it? Okay. You see special, I think I talk about that. Specialization, training, and knowledge. Specialization within indigenous knowledge system, formal recognition of indigenous experts, and structured training in both traditional and modern methods of knowledge transmission. In South Africa, digitization projects have trained community members in archival recording, interviewing. It's a work of Lube. Document in the statistics, so I know what he can do. The knowledge exchange occurs through local and international platforms, such as Indigenous Knowledge Network, UNESCO tech programs, and IPAC. These are, you can Google these abbreviations to get a few words. Participatory mapping initiatives. These exchanges balance traditional mentorship with technological innovation that widen accessibility. So we find that the infrastructure is already there for us. I don't think somebody is leaving us out, but the effort is that if your hand is not in the pudding, then you're not eating. So the onus is on us, whether we will see that we are even the champions of spirit. And for anything we talk of, like you talk about the gigabytes, cyberspace, these are, do you see cyberspace? You can't see it. Where does it sit? But then we have meeting them without our manager is in Pretoria. Unfortunately, she couldn't come. But we are functioning a full institution, office structure, and administration without a visible office. Without a visible office. So universities, academic institutions should rather rise to champion this cause using our spirituality, because if you get into our spiritual principles, as others have mentioned, there's no difference as to whether the something is spirit or not spirit. Yes, and there's another paper I'll present later on, and that one will be very short, but so talk about that. When you see a person, you know, you see, even though socially we've been conditioned to look at our sexes and colors and those things, but there is something also that may not manifest that way, and that is, if we make that the basis, in all the racism, we are not going to have it. Even though I believe that not every spirit in every human is it's another topic altogether. There's another work I've done which I want to publish in Mr. Kind of small book, that is tenants in the body. Tenants in the body, that you are the owner of the house, but then you can get tenants who are strangers in the house. That is in your body. So these things we Africans need to bring them to the world. Just like I mentioned of this chairman guy, Africans don't write. We don't talk much because we have accepted to be on the weaker side and making our own systems insignificant. But if we can actually begin to see that the world needs Africa today more than any time else, then I think my time is up now. Let me conclude. African spirituality and indigenous knowledge systems are vital repository of wisdom that remain. I don't know whether to see an issue. The past reveals resilience under suppression. The present demonstrates revival through the academic recognition. Picture points to hybrid systems that combine land-based traditions with ethical digital innovation. Yeah. Specialization, training, and knowledge exchange would be crucial in ensuring these epistemologies flourish as Africa navigates the challenges of the 21st century. As argued by Guno et al. 2012, eliminating the relational divide between knowledge systems perpetuated by persistent colonial influence is crucial. I end the questions. These ones will be available on our website. So,
we shall share. Okay. Seven,
so I can
You can sit, you can choose that side. Or enter the circle. Any questions, comments? Can we start there? Questions, comments? I have one, but it's a continuation from. So right now, yeah, what?
Oh, Palace.
Alice, it's a continuation from Balisa's question. We are, okay, let me put it this way. I'm part of a various groups of, I have to send it come from you. So I'm a part of a various healers groups, right? On WhatsApp, on paper, physical, whatever. So one of them is called ACIPS-AFRIKA, right? I think the center is in Maritzburg, but it's South Africa wide, right? Now, this morning, it has happened in other days, but this particular morning, they were emphasizing the issue of writing, right? Let's write, let's write. So they use a lot of voice notes. Let's archive our stuff, let's document. Now, one of the leaders, I think her name is Maria. In her 2-minute voice note, she spoke a lot about particular medicines. She was mentioning herbs and roots and describing what they look like and everything to a person that does not even understand, has not gone through the teachings about those things. She's speaking French or Greek, but she was emphasizing the fact that even for the novice, so that she was basically saying, ordinary people don't necessarily need to go to a sample to understand certain herbs. For the past 5 years or so, but there are certain things, even my mother is, we call her, don't get into we call her born again Christian. I respect her for it, but she doesn't respect my way. She thinks it's demonic. Right? But I respect her way, but yeah, it's a long story. Most in our family, we come from families like that, right? But the point I'm making is, my mother uses umuti, but my mother says, actually, will not go to Inyan for umuti. She will not go to Istanbul for umuti. She will not go to another. She'd rather get umuti. She can go to this kind of place, it's fine. But she cannot go. Umuti also is umuti. But she'd rather get it directly from a family member or herself. But I'm speaking to the point of in knowledge system can be written, going back to you, Marisa, again. There's a written code, and there's also the unwritten code, oral knowledge. She says, Ukoko taught me 100 medicines. Gogo never went to school, but Gogo needed to develop pillar and charge. Meaning like chemist, meaning like doctor, meaning that umuti, that I was getting from Inyanga or Istanbul because I was consulting her. So, but the oral nature of the passing on of the knowledge, she didn't get it from a book, she didn't get it from a sangoma, she got it from Ukoko, who ensured, lastly, just last month, intangible things. Umama, when I started in my spiritual journey, or transforming from. In fact, the color through Rasta is a long story I will talk about. It went through Rastafari, I was Rasta, and then Rasta led me here. But my mother always emphasizes, and until today, she says, "Ugogo mase, ugogo wakho usalani." Wathi, ngisho noma engavela ngephupho, noma engavela ngani, noma engavela ngayiphi indlela, noma nganyenyeza endleleni yakho, do not believe that it is her. It will be a demon camouflaged as herself. Do you understand? So the indoctrination, it's my mother, I love her, but the training, the taming of the mind and of the spirit of an ordinary African person with regards to ancestral qualities is so deep that even if the evidence comes to present itself to you, you won't believe it because the Bible doesn't say so. You understand? So there is a way. So the Bible itself is written, but more than this, most people who believe biblical stuff don't even read it. We always talk about it. They don't know. Me, I've read it from beginning to the end. When I was last, I was a preacher. I was a minister with us. I was marrying people, baptizing children. I was, women practice. Gave my day. Gave my day. So, but I went through the Bible and I realized there's certain African things in the Bible also. But then I decided, let me make a decision to separate the two. Some people are able to live with the two. So the oral can also operate within the textual and the ritual. But I just wanted to say that.
Let me just present our
position.
But Baba is saying, you see, I became African from the Bible, especially because I was more into OT studies very well.
Old Testament.
Yes.
These acronyms, you are the mix.
But OT, in fact, we can't go into it now. We have another time for that. You see, it's a book that is coded so many things and turned upside down. You see, for me, it's a dangerous book. It traps you, and people cannot really understand, but then they stick to it. But you see, this is part of our if you can write your freelance writings, we have opinion and feature. Some people say they don't like it. I don't know whether we should keep the opinion feature or we should just make a feature post whereby any on research, anything that you write, we publish it here. And then we have these things. So we invite people to, and then which one? So fast. Yes. This. Nananiwa is my mother, but you see, as you look at me, she's not been to school. She never stepped in classroom. But the knowledge that woman gave history, in fact, graduates come to listen to her. So I said that, look, I have to do something in Anna in terms of knowledge for her. Then we added Wangari, but Wangari Maathai, the Kenyan. Yes. Then in Africa, is our manager. The way that manager, you see, we registered the organization, but it was dormant. But when this man said that Mama is a retirement, would you want to let us do this, do that? He said, okay. So when he came in, the energy that moved me to start all this website you see, it was that time, everything, made me to say, I told Papa Mezi and that the rest, let us honor this woman because she's about 72, 73 there. But she lived in America, but she lived in Africa. You see, such people, we need to honor them because nobody is going to talk about them. So I said, let's put those people, just let them name the publication after them as women, because women are important. So that is why you find that there. Let's go down. You can visit there and see. Let's just go this one and then I will this is where we want to package journals, which you the ones are the ones you are the one interested in it. This should be more research work, peer reviewed. This other automated things we need to add is money, but we are trusting that maybe we will get some people to assist us so that we will automate it like other journals have. So that you go there, you don't have a security problem, and then you can get to whatever you want also. So that's why we are encouraging you to hear. We want people to select people that will edit with Afrocentric mind, not just anything, so that what you put there will not be diluted. That is what goes. So I think
Thank you so much. With Baba Benny, I'm seeing there's a lot of knowledge that is packed in him, and it's it's a lot. So, but we are still
to my mother.
Yes, so we are definitely going to have a lot of things to unpack. From his presentation, the thing that interested me was him talking about technology and innovation, and how that in itself, the spirit that we don't see, involved in technology. And I'm just thinking very quickly about how many African service or content creators have tried to put pro-African content on TikTok, and it's very important information, like debunking a whole lot of things from that the colonialists had said this is what things are, and they've gone and debunked, researched, done all of that, and how many times they're just shut down. The moment umoya wetu yaphezulu, because it's not just us who are learning, it's every Black person on the planet, from a space like TikTok, and they see that unity, and they know NSK how powerful that is. The next thing you know, something like Africa Stream, it got shut down. And then the main problem is we are creating or trying to create those platforms on platforms that have been created, not by us. So we need to find a way to create our platforms. That's going to require, some kind of autonomy, or conjuring up our own spirits, so to speak, on which the platform can sit.
Trump plan which may continue even when he leaves. Make sure that if you come to American school, everything you conform to Christian, whether you like it or not. You see, so it means that they are narrowing the when you are there. So unless we also begin it here. So
absolutely. I also wanted to make a little bit of. I think you would notice I normally rather use the word Eurocentric than the West, because I had an experience with one of my colleagues from Brazil, Vanessa Menzinosa, and we were writing a paper, a viewpoint paper that was going to be published on indigenous knowledge systems and self-study methodologies and that sort of thing. And we were now going through reviewing our paper, and she kept writing. And I'm like, Vanessa, you don't write the whites. You don't say that the blacks. No, but they are. And I said, no, I understand that, but you can't say it like that. No, but the whites. And I'm like, it's the West. Then she's like, but we're the West. And I said, I stopped, and then I thought, wait a minute. She's indigenous to Brazil, and she's just like me. I'm indigenous to Africa, and so therefore, I'm the erasure of their existence by saying that they're the West. And what I'm referring to when we say West is actually the Eurocentric, the Europeans that migrated to the West. So I had to stop. I have to consciously tell myself all the time not to refer to them.
There was a group called Kubala Kingdom. Have you come across it?
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, that they are the indigenous of Scotland, and therefore they are claiming back their land. I didn't believe, but when I Googled it, I saw that it's true.
And
they are black, but they are like us. The Cubans are like us, not different.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much. For those that were not here, my name is Linda Wezizwe Manai. From Information Technology. The reason why I'm mentioning my department is because I came here late. So there is this important part of the workshop that I probably missed that says, what are your expectations? Why are you here? And so forth. I don't know if it was run, they usually use the Mentimeter, the real-time analysis to run that one. But if I was here, I was gonna say, the reason why I came here, well, I haven't recognized any sort of gift or calling from my end. But the reason why I came here is because I actually like the idea of one, the decolonization. And then number two, it's because one of my honors students is doing a project on natural language processing. So she's improving the vocab of the generative AIs. You see the chatbots here, especially isiZulu, the isiZulu vocab. Now, I was looking at the forum where people share ideas and so forth that actually you can just share an idea using your own language, right? You can even use a voice note. Then the NLP, it has got those ability to transcribe and translate. So if maybe there is something that is written in isiZulu, you can just convert and you can say English, and then for those that are comfortable and understand isiZulu, you can read it that way. So I'm mapping that. By the way, she's from Escort. So I was telling her that you were going to meet your home if you were here. So I'm mapping that to. There is an important point that I spoke about when he talked about the source or the spirituality, the foundation. These days, you were talking about the medium that the international experts are using to say, I can go online and do the consultation. There are people here that still in Africa that still believe that it must be a face-to-face so that I can see you. And then when you do it online, they think you are using Isluane, so you cannot, some kind of malicious powers that Dr. Mkiza talked about for supposed to do it that way. Now I'm asking myself that, I'm just thinking to myself that if you fully understand the foundation of, I want to believe that as we are here wearing different attires, it's because our callings or our ancestors are unique in a certain form, but somehow we understand each other and we complement each other, right? So in case there are new things that are being introduced, they should be able to adapt, right? We should know where to touch, what to touch, how to certain things, and then establish how do we function given the setup or given the era that we are living in, right? There will be times whereby people will not travel at all. Imagine if I was experiencing something during COVID time and I needed answers. I didn't even know when we were going to access and all that. So people somehow, they started doing the consultations over the phone and even those people that thought initially it was because of some witchcraft or something, right? So I'm also looking at the journals. I just hope that when when those journals are advertised, they shouldn't be limited to certain things. They should go far beyond the end, yes, to accommodate everything in the
we have on that publication, we have Africa for our publications there. But
Yes.
the journal look at the environmentalism. It's a broader scope, but it takes the spirituality journals directly. Other journals we have different compartments for them.
Yeah, I
Yes,
see.
even if they are politics.
May I, I'm sorry to disrupt you. May I really ask us to pause? Otherwise. Well, is that okay?
That is perfect.
Because we will continue. It ends at 3.
We have many, yes, and we have more sessions ahead to actually break down all of these things. I did know it will get a lot because there's a lot to fit in. But we have more sessions to come, hence we are building our community in our circle, and we will interrogate things a little bit more as we go. But can we please go for lunch because it is like 6 minutes past, 24. So can we come back then at, we were supposed to go from 1:30 to 2:30. Can we come back at 2:30?
Yes. Is that okay? Thank you for your time. Because your
Well, but there are many businesses that